Hello, hello, welcome to Mindset to Results. And today our guest is Annabel Bee. She is Toastmaster speaker. She is also comedian and motivational humorist. She is the author of the books, and today we have interesting discussion about the humor and how can humor help us to live better lives and achieve our results. Hi, Annabelle.
Hello, please call me B. Um, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You are stand-up comedian, and I haven't spoken to anyone yet who would be comedian. So for me, it is a very interesting meeting and conversation that we are going to have today. Tell us a little bit about your story. What brought you to do what you do now?
Well, it actually goes back to having a hard childhood. And long story short, when I met my first husband, we had problems, and I didn't know anything besides I needed to go back to university and at least get a degree, a bachelor's. And so I went back to university. We have two children together, and we had joint custody, and I settled into being a secretary, and I was trying to basically hide in my own life. When I met my second husband, who is German,
Mhm.
we came to Germany in 2005 because his parents were elderly. And again, I was trying to hide in my own life. And in Germany, I'm African American, and I was hiding in plain sight, basically. And I was looking for ways to speak English, and that's how I came upon Toastmasters. And so I joined Toastmasters, and I started finding my voice. I started really finding how I enjoyed humor, how much I enjoyed thinking about my life and lessons I've learned and how I could pass that on to other people. And I left Toastmasters in about 2018 and thought, how can I use my skills? How can I keep speaking? I found a mentor. Her name is Judy Carter. Judy Carter is a motivational humorist, and
Mhm.
she's written books, The Comedy Bible, which is the Bible about comedy. And
Wow.
so while I trained with her, I tried and got on stage, and that's how I became a stand up comedian.
Wow, amazing story, amazing story. So, how humor helped you in your life to have great experience and make people feel better and help them?
Yes, humor is this secret weapon that we all have, or this superpower. Actually, it's a superpower that we all have, that because in the US, because of our puritanical roots, we think, I shouldn't be laughing, I should be serious, things should be serious, a lot of people think. But when we only communicate in that way, we're actually cutting off a form of communication that actually helps us it helps us uh, reform our thoughts. It helps us to lower our blood pressure. It helps us to connect with other people in a short term. So I thought, why are we not using this more? And as I said, I had a mentor, and she was doing motivational humor. And her first book was From Mess to Message. And that fit my story completely. And so I started using humor to help people think about their life, to think about life as this mess, and that it doesn't have to be perfect. And that's the big point about humor. And I should say the difference between comedy and humor. Comedy is performance. Comedy is when you create story, when you put together a program. That is comedy. Humor is anything that makes you laugh. So you tickle a baby, anything. And that's why sometimes people will say things and say, I'm just joking, and we take it as okay, because humor can be anything. And so I fell into comedy because it helped me to tap into my authenticity. And so then I wanted to help others tap into their authenticity. And so that's why I started doing communication courses, but with a focus on stand up comedy, practicing forms of uh, improv to better help people be better speakers and communicators.
Yes, amazing, amazing approach. So, how do you think about the perception when people find themselves in different situation, and how is just the shifting of their perception, how to look at that situation from that humor humor point of view? Yes, and just s- having that ability to find something funny, how can it help to see the situation different, right? And when we feel different, us it will lead to different results, because when we feel different, our actions are different. Yes, and when different actions, they cause different results. How did it happen in your life?
Yes, in my life, once I found Toastmasters, once I found comedy, and comedy is all about shifting your perspective. And so it was just a natural lifting of my spirit of not taking myself so seriously, because you can't take yourself seriously when you do comedy, because it's all about looking at yourself and letting go and saying this was absurd, or this was silly, or this taught me something that I never thought about. And so that way of thinking helped me to grow in the idea of authenticity, and to let go of things like trying to be perfect, because no one is perfect. And when you get on stage, that's one thing. You want a connection with the audience. Just like if you're a presenter, you want a connection with the audience. And comedy helps you because it is about trying things, trying new things. And I started doing things like I write every day. I write every day, and part of it is to actually write down, to journal, to try to find puns. Puns are words that mean two different things at the same time. And that's right. And that's what you want to hold in your mind, this incongruity. Puns are like that. Irony is like that. It's about holding more than one idea in your mind. So something could be A, or it can be AAB. And that's what comedy teaches you. It's about patterns, but it's also about learning how to break those patterns. And that's what you get from comedy.
Wow, it is so interesting. Never thought about that before, that comedy can impact this way. Yes, amazing. Could you please tell us what is the biggest shift that happened for you in your life when you started discovering this genre?
The biggest shift I had was one night I was looking online, and a meme popped up, and it said, "Why are you trying to fit in when you were born to stand out?" And once I embrace this idea of just being in my own authenticity and standing up for myself and just being myself and letting myself be enough and letting my thoughts and my ideas be enough and not struggling for perfection in everything. Even my stories, sometimes we look at our own stories and we think, ah, I wish I had a, a PhD, or I wish I hadn't had that happen, whatever childhood trauma and these things. But this mess, what Judy Carter calls mess to message, this is your message. If you've
Mhm.
survived, your resiliency helps others. And that's why I wanted to be a motivational humorist. And I wrote my my printed book. I have a book I'm working on now, but the book that is out that I wrote and published in 2020 is called Girl You Ain't Crazy. And
Wow.
part of it was just getting down this idea of my life has been a mess. It has not been a straight line, and it has not been crystal clear. And I wanted to share with others who might have gone through traumas and things and feel like their life is a mess. My life is just a mess. How you can take that mess and turn it into something else.
Yes, amazing. I like this. From mess to message. Yes, and when we look at our life from this perception, that what lessons we learned from that mess. Yes, because here is the key, that do we want to stay in that mess and get more mess, or we want to become aware that we are the cause of that mess, because there is always the law of cause and effect. And when we start seeing that we are the cause, and the good is that because we are the cause, it means that when we change ourselves, when we find those patterns in which we just program to think and feel and behave, and it is the same patterns every day, and that's why people get the same mess every day. And it comes to such point that people say enough is enough, and it hits them, like they understand that, yeah, I should look at myself, what I'm doing on daily basis that creates these results, and if I don't want to have these results, what I can do different to have different results. Yes, so it comes to the point that people just become aware of these patterns, and they just find a way. And when they look back, they can see that so good that I had that experience, because of this experience I now became who I became, and now I do what I do. And in many cases when I meet with people, I can see that what you call like mess, it became a stepping point for them, that that stone which they stepped on it, and it totally changed the trajectory of their life, and now are grateful for having that mess, because if not that, they wouldn't be now where they are.
Exactly. And I believe in affirmations and this idea that you cannot change the past, but you can start from wherever you are and change your future, you know. And the future, everyone has one because you can't be alive without one. So you have a future no matter what you've been through, no matter what you're going through now. You can, as you said, Elena, look for ways to break those patterns. And that's why I find it easy to do that by using humor. By And I would encourage other people to look for comedy shows, to read books of humor. Get yourself laughing. There's research that says that adults laugh maybe, 3 or 4 times a week, whereas children laugh over 300 times a day. And
Wow.
so, yes, and laughter, now we have laughter therapy. I mean, there's laughter therapy, laughter yoga, where you
Mhm.
actually sit and make yourself laugh, and then it becomes sort of automatic.
Mhm.
We are starting to see that laughter and comedy, things that cause us to laugh, really are beneficial to our lives. There's so many positives that you get from trying to be more lighthearted, and with what you said before about this mess, looking at this mess. Bob Marley said, some people are in the rain and other people are just getting wet. So if you take the time to examine your life or examine what's been happening with you, and then try to shift your perspective about those things, then you can cause a shift in how you perceive reality, which is a great thing if you can get yourself to look at reality in more than one way. Like that A plus A has to equal A. It does not.
Yes, yes, amazing, amazing. That we can change the way how we look at things, and things will change just from shifting our perception, and it we can see totally different picture and think, oh, how we didn't see this before. Yes.
It's so funny because I was watching, I think Pirates of the Caribbean, and Johnny Depp. And Johnny Depp was saying the problem is not the problem. The way you look at the problem is the problem. So
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Yes, so many people can look at the same situation, and every one of them will have different picture of it, right? And make different assumptions. And it shows that we don't see the world how it is, but we see the world according to our consciousness. It is like everybody just wears those virtual glasses through which they just see reality, and for everyone reality is different. So if person sees positive, he sees positive. If person expects negative, he will just see negative. So it is like in our subconscious mind we have those filters which enables us to see only that part of the picture which are aligned with our programs. That's why if we don't like results which we have, we just have to go deep and understand what thoughts we have, how we see the world, what we expect, because we always receive what we expect. And if we not allow ourselves to expect bigger things in life, to see bigger picture, it will never come, because we will just see that interval where our subconscious mind is programmed, and the rest, that is huge piece of all the view, will not be available for us.
Mm, exactly. Exactly. And another thing I would say, Elena, is the fact that it's hard for us to hold two ideas at the same time, especially if one of those ideas goes against what we believe. So, for example, if you believe in nonviolence and someone else believes in owning a gun, more than likely you will not be friends with this person because your outlooks, you will feel, are too different for you to be friends. And
Mhm.
this is causes cognitive dissonance. And cognitive dissonance is when you believe something and someone challenges what you believe, and you will either double down on what you believe because you cannot, like you said, because of our blinders, we get very uncomfortable when people challenge things that we hold dear or deep, and it's like being uncomfortable. It is being uncomfortable or off balance. It's like being off balance. And so this cognitive dissonance is what people try to avoid. And it's hard in reality when you have all sorts of conflicts happening and conflicts have two sides. And all of these things that are causing cognitive dissonance in our world today, and some of us are doubling down and saying, I don't want to see anything that's not in my worldview. I don't, I only want to see puppies and rainbows, or I only want to see the thing that I believe, that these people are always right. Like I'll take Democrats and Republicans in the US. For for a lot of people in the US, and it's been my reality too, if you're one, you're one. So if you're a Democrat, you're a Democrat. And these other people are Republicans. And these other people are totally wrong because they're Republicans. So
Mhm.
that's what I mean by cognitive dissonance, this inability to see another side. And humor lets us let go of that a little bit. It loosens that, that hard block that we have, that we call, our values, and let us see that there's other ways to perceive, as you said, reality.
Yes, exactly. So you told that children laugh 3,000 times a day and adults laugh maybe a few times a week, if
Yeah.
that happened. So, what is the ways that people can bring more laughter in their life? Like, what you would suggest them, how they can start looking at things with humor? Because
Mm,
this is also the way how we approach to different things, and the way how we behave. It is mostly habitual way. Yes, and if people um, like were brought in these families which strict parents, and that everything should be in order, everything you should know how to do, be logical, know how to what you want to do every day. Yes, so and people can just go to that to be too serious about themselves and too serious about their life, and they can be ambitious, they can be driven, and they can have so much knowledge, but they can still because of those programs, I would say, yes, of those patterns, they miss to enjoy life. They can achieve things, right? Because they have that skills, but they can miss really to have those beautiful moments and really enjoy in life. Because when we are too serious, even if we are in very beautiful environment, maybe we are in the beach with family, and still we can think about business, about problems, about clients. So it is not even about where we are physically, but how we really use our mind, and how we use to be present and teach ourselves to be present here. And if we go somewhere to relax and have a good time, we just have to be here. And what you would suggest for these people, how they can bring more humor in their life and become, how to say, more like lighter, yeah, lighter, not to be so focused and stressed, because all this stress, anxiety, it brings them to health issues, right? Like so many people now successful but have depression, have anxiety. And
mhm.
I think that the world needs more people like you who just dedicate their life and find passion in making people laugh and making people feel good.
Hmm. That's a great question. So, things you can do to lighten up or to learn how to shift your perspective is to embrace discomfort as a growth opportunity. Take a different way to work. So, something you can do is you could drive a different way to work, or you could meet someone that you don't normally meet with, or talk to someone you don't normally talk to, and try to be open to that perspective and write it down. Start a journal. Journaling, everyone says, is a way to look again at your experiences, because um, you want to also practice mindfulness. I do mindful walking where I go for a walk and I try to, be, like you say, in the moment, be in nature, to just be in the time that I'm standing and not be thinking about the past. Because if you're thinking about the past, you're depressed. If you're thinking about the future, you're anxious. Try to stay in the moment and just live here. Go for walks. If you do yoga or breathing exercises, that also can help. And foster a perspective shifting uh, way of thinking. Try things like writing puns, or word plays, and look for humorous cartoons or movies. If you like to read anything by Irma Bombeck, uh, there's books by the comedians that I really love. Read one of their biographies or see a comedy movie. Really explore yourself. What do you like? I cannot know what would bring you joy, but that's something for you to discover for yourself. And you can do that by mindfulness, one, by shifting your perspective and by embracing even difficult moments.
Yes, exactly. Thank you for sharing. So it is about consciously just set time to do something that makes you laugh. Yes, this is like creating a new habit to
Hmm.
put in your daily routine. Just maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes, just set the time to watch something nice, to read something nice, or just have fun with your family or children. Yes, and it can help to bring that energy and get lighter, remove all those stresses and big tasks and what we usually plan to do so many things every day. Yes, and planning such moments like intervals between our work will help to connect and just to have that freshness and fresh view to things and towards ourselves as well.
Excellent, Elena. I totally agree.
Yes, thank you very much. If there would be one advice that you would like to share with people who are listening to us, what would that be?
One piece of advice that I would give to everyone is this: the idea that levity, levity supersedes gravity. So even though things seem very deep or even dark, lightness actually can break that up. Remember that lightness does drive out darkness. So if you make a habit of looking for the light, going towards the light, that can change. That's a shift in your reality that will just pay dividends in health, in understanding of others, in building relationships, just all around. Look for the light.
Yeah, thank you very much. And could you just tell a little bit about your books? And later we will put your connection details and where you people can connect with you and order your books.
Oh, great. Thank you, Elena. So I wrote a book called Girl You Ain't Crazy, and I wrote it in 2020. It's a motivational humor book because I wanted to write down these ideas I had about my life and any sort of lessons that I could pass on. So I think it's a fun book. So I would suggest that. And you can follow me at link dot tr. So it's linktree/B Baumann. And then you'll see everything that I'm involved in. So I would encourage you to reach out to me. I would love to hear your story as well.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Yes, and I will put definitely all your links in description to this video, and people will be able to connect with you and know more. Thank you very much for being guest on our show. It was a really amazing episode, and I'm looking forward to see you again.
Me too.